It is Wealth Wednesday, and today we're going to talk about selling a property that currently has a tenant or a renter in it. So the first thing that we need to address right away is that there are in fact tenant rights. State law in New Mexico states that you have to give a 24-hour notice to the tenant before you enter the property, and that means showing the property as well. So there are two types of properties that are sold with tenants in them, and those are investment properties that are designed to stay investment properties, and investment properties that are now being sold as a single-family home to someone who's planning on living in the home. So if it is an investment property and designed to stay that way, showing the home to investors usually isn't a very big deal. It doesn't really affect the process all that much because a lot of investors know that they have to give 24-hour notice to actually see the property, and a lot of them are happy there is a tenant in there showing that the investment property actually produces income, which can actually add a little bit of security to the investor. Now, if you're selling a property to someone who's planning on living in the property, having a tenant in there can actually affect the value of your home, because if they have to provide 24 hours notice, most buyers are letting their brokers know hours before or even the evening before they want to see a home to see it. And if they can't see your home, it decreases the number of people who are going to go through it and look at it, which in turn decreases the likelihood of the home selling itself or selling at top value. You also have to really worry about how the tenants are keeping the home. So if they're kind of messier tenants with a bunch of soap and clothes, or just in general kind of keep the house a little bit messy, that can definitely affect people who are looking to purchase the home. Now, on the other side, if you have a very clean tenant and they actually present the home really well, it actually can serve as a little bit of a benefit in that case, because it'll give whoever's buying the home vision. And one thing to quickly note, if someone is in fact buying the home to live in, that tenant should be on a month-to-month lease, because anytime someone buys a property, if the lease is in place, it is still binded to that property, and whoever buys the property is also getting that lease. So if there's 6 months left on that lease and that person buys the property, they can't live in it until that lease expires, which means that their lender probably isn't going to lend them the money to buy that property under the idea of them actually living in it, which actually affects their mortgage terms. They'll probably have to come up with more money down, and they'll have to have a higher interest rate. So if you have a tenant in the property and the lease is still in effect for a prolonged period of time, it's a better idea to keep it off the market. On the other hand, if you're selling it as an investment property, go ahead and put it on the market. So just to recap, if you are selling your property as an investment property, it should not affect the sale value of your home. And in fact, if you have a tenant paying a lot of money, or you just raise the rents, you can actually sell your property for more money, because an investor will see that your property is in fact performing, and it will also give them security whenever they're purchasing the property to let them know that yes, this property is going to rent for this amount of money. And on the other side, having a tenant in a home where someone is planning on buying it to live in it themselves, generally speaking, is not a good idea. It's usually better to have the tenant move out so that you can stage the home and sell it for the most amount of money possible. And of course, if it isn't a month-to-month lease, it's likely that someone who's planning on living in the property isn't going to be able to. Either way, taking great pictures and potentially doing a Matterport virtual tour is a good idea in these cases, so that people can still see the inside of the property and feel like they are in there without disturbing your tenant. If you found this video useful, please share it with your family and friends. This has been Leland the Realtor, keeping investment simple. Have a wonderful day.